Here is my problem. I am working very hard. I don't know how the sound is on this. I'm just going to talk and just hope that it picks it up. Here is my problem. I am working very hard. Sorry, I see an eyelash. It's going to be one of those videos where I'm trying to talk and I'm like, sorry, I see a bug. Sorry, I see an eyelash. Sorry, I see this. Life is very frustrating right now. I am working very hard to create a softer life for myself as I hit 40. And I've got a whole before 40 list of big and small things that I want to tackle before 40. And I am working very hard to make those happen. And working on that list, it has created, I just started working on the list in earnest truly 2 days ago. Like I said, October 26th, I was going to start working on the list. It has created a whole wave of anxiety atop of all of the other anxieties that I already feel about life. And part of me is like, why don't you created all these big little things that you want to solve. Why don't you just stop doing sweaters? It's me hot. All of these things are annoying me. The thing is that I'm like, why don't you just stop doing the one thing that is creating the most anxiety and just hope that everything else falls where it may? And I'm like, well, that's an option. But I'm also just like, there's a whole bunch of other things that I could distract myself with. And then there's also the day-to-day thing of having a job that is obviously allowing you to live your life, but you know that you may not be as aligned with that job as you need to be in order to do it. It makes things difficult when you find yourself in a place for multiple hours a day where you want to bite everyone's head off, but you feel like you're not qualified to be anywhere else and nowhere else will hire you. And you can't just get a job off of being Aaron or being just Jack or...
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jack McFarland. But for tonight, I want you to think of me as just Jack.
Or, something like that. I can't get a job dicking around and being a cultural commentator. Fortunately, unfortunately. And the people whom I see and whom I follow on social media, their lives may look easy and their lives may look fun, but they work very, very hard to maintain their lives. And they've worked very, very hard. And one thing that I keep thinking about and that I keep observing in the people whom I do see on social media is that they seem to have all arrived at a point and a place where they are I don't want to say that they're given things, but they are recognized for their talent and for their smarts, and they're asked to do things, they're asked to speak on things, they're asked to be a part of things, they're asked to cover things, their presence is enough to get them recognized by other people. And I think one of my big worries is that in surviving and not thriving, people are going to do people, and by people I mean the 10 people in my life who remember that I exist, will think that I am of note, but in reality nobody does. And this is just a whole bunch of dribble. That's just how I'm feeling right now. And the one thing that I keep thinking about in this before 40 list, and I do want to and plan to talk about it in greater depth soon. This is kind of the analogy of where I'm sitting. One of the big things on my before 40 list is that I want to create content. I want to create it regularly. And I'm bringing my mom into this, my dear sainted mother whom I love dearly, who if I think about it for one more second could just bring tears to my eyes just thinking about her presence. I hear footsteps. Here's the thing. My dear sainted mother whom I love dearly. So there are parts of her home that have more clutter in them than others. And I think honestly for the past decade, my mom was like, oh, I just got to get the house cleaned up. Oh, I just got to get my table cleaned off. Oh, I just got to do X, Y, Z. My mom has done so many other things and allocated so much time and energy to other things in her life. Whereas if she wanted to, she would. That's what I'm trying to say. If she wanted to get her dining room table cleaned off, she would. If she wanted to get her kitchen island cleaned off, she would. And I kind of have gotten to the point that when I hear that refrain from her, I'm like, you don't want to do it. Like, you don't want to clean it. You would have cleaned it by now. Like, there's nothing holding back. Clean it. Fucking clean it. And then I think about my own life and I'm like, you don't want to make content. Like, how much dicking around do you do in your life? You're a single woman living alone. Like, yes, you have to go to work. Yes, you have other things in your life that you have to attend to. None of them is so heavily present that you can't make a video for 5 minutes, cut it up, put it online, do it. Do it. You don't want to do it. Like, you don't want to change. If you wanted to change, you would. I had a conversation with a neighbor of mine a couple of days ago, and we were talking about things in our lives that need to change, our personal lives. And he said something that I cannot stop thinking about. He was like, no one wants to take the first step. That feels like a Bible verse to me. No one wants to take the first step. Everyone wants to be on the other side. Everybody wants to be on the, oh, my life is so great and wonderful. 10 years ago, I was doing this. 10 years ago, I was feeling this. Nobody wants to do the work in the middle because the work in the middle sucks. A person whom I think about often, when I share who it is, y'all are gonna be like, get different thoughts, Aaron. A person whom I think about often, and not often, but like I think about them often enough, is Ariel Lorre. I think that's how you pronounce her name, her last name, because she was married to Chuck Lorre, who is 2.5 Men, CBS mogul, like all of those things. And she hosts a podcast now that's focused on wellness. But her whole thing is that she was a former alcoholic, and she often, as people do when they've recovered from something that was that big, they talk about it often in their daily lives and how, how down they were and how much their lives have changed.
I was a hope to die alcoholic. How good can life get when you cut out alcohol? It completely changed my life. Everything that I have is built upon that foundation of being sober and the work that I do in sobriety. So for me, it was the most transformative thing.
Obviously, she has done amazing things in her life. She talks about it like it was yesterday, but the truth is that those traumatic things happened over a decade ago. And for me to be a decade removed from that, or to be 5 years removed, 1 year removed from that, I've got to start doing the work. But the work is hard. It's little things, big things. The work is hard, but you have to do it. Unless you just want to complain about it, and unless you really do want to be on your deathbed, because some of us don't know when our deathbed is going to be our deathbed. We're going to think that we have a headache, and we're going to be dead. Like you go in for chest pains and you don't come out. That happens often for people. I hope that you all were able to gain something out of this very brief but very impactful TED Talk. But I just wanted to share. I'm just feeling very frustrated right now, but one of the things on my before 40 list is to create content, and I can't create content if I'm not creating content. So Step 1. Okay, everybody have a great day. Bye.